So we're going to talk about ancient Americans here. We're going to talk about the Maya first. They are located on the Yucatan Peninsula, which is southern Mexico. It's in the Gulf of Mexico. And they existed from 200 BC to around 900 AD. Trade was important to all Mesoamerican people. The Mayans are going to build roads. They write in glyphs, or what we'd call hieroglyphs. They use calendars to trace time. They have two different calendars. They have a sacred calendar based on a 260-day year, and they have the agricultural calendar that's based on a 365-day year. And they're gonna record more than 5,000 years of their history. The thing to remember with the Mayans is they were obsessed with time. They actually read into time a lot, and they studied it. They studied the stars a lot. They made significant contributions to astronomy, astrology, and they are going to actually have a system where they take these two calendars, the sacred calendar and the agriculture calendar, and they are able to put them together, and they're able to make predictions of the future, even the demise of their civilization within a year or two. So the Mayans are really interesting people, and they definitely obsessed with time. The Aztec, located more in the central part of Mexico, located in modern day what is today Mexico City, the Aztecs settled a swampy area, and they built their civilization. Their capital city is in this lake. It's called Tenochtitlan. In the 1420s, the Aztec and the Texcoco and Alacapan became the Triple Alliance. The Aztecs and their allies defeated all other lake cities and forced them to pay tribute. Soon the Aztecs grew into a powerful tribe, and their culture would dominate. So Tenochtitlan had a population of about 250,000 people. So it's a large city for ancient times. And they actually have over 1 million gallons of water entering the city, fresh water to drink and to clean a day. About 1 million gallons, I think it's 1 million gallons a day. And their nobles took 2 baths a day. We tend to think of Native Americans as not very civilized, but this group was extremely civilized, more so than the Europeans. Population of Tenochtitlan, 250,000 people. They worship the sun and the moon, and they're polytheists, and they believe that the sun had to fight the darkness to stay up, and to help the sun stay up, the Aztecs offered human sacrifices. This is not a new practice in Mesoamerica. The Mayans have been doing it for years. The Aztecs are doing it, and the Inca. The thing with the Aztec is the size and frequency of their sacrifices. So the Inca began to establish this civilization as a power in the 1400s, located in the Andes Mountains in South America, modern-day Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, and Ecuador, down through Chile. They build what was called the King's Roads, and they do this for communication because their whole civilization's in the mountains. And these roads had rest areas. So you start to see, and not to mention Roman roads had rest areas and stuff, but yeah, they had way stations or rest areas. They were kept in good condition. The king was believed to be the son of the sun, and that's supposed to be S-O-N, not S-U-N. The son, S-O-N, of the sun, S-U-N. And the queen was the daughter of the moon. So men came from the sun, or women came from the moon. Both the king and queen led a service each day. The capital city was Cuzco, built in the shape of a puma. The largest city and religious city was Machu Picchu. Their decline happens around 1500. The empire encounters some serious problems. We have invading tribes from the Amazon. The Incas lose a lot of troops while fighting in the Amazon to the Amazonia people, and to disease. Hunaya Capac, he's going to die in 1525, and power will be split between his two sons. The eldest son eventually took over, but he promised the lands of nobility, or he promised the lands of the nobility to be given to the royal family. The nobles got the younger brother to rebel, and this starts a 2-year war. So the younger brother captures Cusco, ending the war. However, the Inca were weak and really couldn't control its empire, and they're vulnerable to outside attack. Now, you give them 10 to 15 years, they're going to be fine, because these young warriors are going to be back, and they're going to eventually rebuild their army. The problem is, this is 1532. They're not going to have years. They're going to have a month and a months. So the desert Southwest tribes, the Anasazi, best known tribe in the Southwest U.S., they lived in what is called the Four Corners region of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah, modern day, of course. They built their houses into the side of hills between 900 AD and 1300. They're later called the Pueblos by the Spanish, which means hole diggers, or living in the side of cliff livers. Mound builders. As early as the 700s, you have the Adena and Hopewell. They would leave their mounds, and their civilizations would decline, and you see the Cahokia emerge. The Cahokia, or we know them as the Mississippians, they gain influence in the region around 800 AD. Their greatest center of power was Cahokia, Illinois, and it houses 40,000 people around 1200 AD. The Cahokia had about 60 mounds inside the town. These were temples on top of some of the largest mounds in North America. They worshipped the sun, and they made sacrifices as well. As you see, the heir to the mound builders, the Mississippians, left with no writing, no written records, and they disappeared by the time the Europeans had arrived. So their traditions did survive in other tribes. One tribe called the Natchez, they followed a lot of the Mississippians or Cahokia's culture, and they built mounds. As far as the frozen world, we have the Inuits or Eskimos. Eskimo means raw meat eater, which they do not like being called raw meat eaters. So Inuit is their tribe name, their tribal name. They adapt to the harsh climate. Primarily, they're hunters and gatherers, using all the animal bones and tools. They use dog sleds for transportation, and they constructed igloos when they were hunting game, not permanently. They didn't live in igloos permanently. Other natives of the north would build sod dwellings and live in partially underground sod dwellings. Inuits did this as well. As far as a land of plenty, you have people in what is the Northwest today, like Canada and the U.S. They lived in better environmental conditions. It's more of a rainy area over there, not as cold as the Inuits up in the Arctic. So they have plenty of rivers with salmon in them, other fish as well. They had forests, they had food from the land, and they're going to build large villages. The Iroquois are going to be the largest Native American group in the northeastern part of what is North America today, New York State, down the east coast to northern South Carolina. Okay. As you see, they go west to the Great Lakes. Political organization, you might want to know this. I usually have you guys write this down. The Iroquois League wasn't always able to keep peace, but it was the best organized political group north of the Aztec. And they are the ones that's going to write a loose constitution, confederation, and they're going to have a written government in their language, of course. They have 5 sections over time. Only men meet on these councils. Each clan had a clan mother, and as you see, she could name or depose members of the council. This league emerged just as Europeans made their way to the New World.